here we go again in the Type 4. Let's give it a shot. It's Christmas. It's got to work out, right? It's Christmas time. We know things are going to work because it's Christmas time. No, I do not want to spend bonds on an orderly ammo rack. I'll do clutch braking, sure. Let's see what we can do. This map might not be too bad, but it's a tight, very tier 10 game, which this thing usually does poorly in tier 10 games with big tier 10 heavies. There's a lot of very heavy tanks. Very, very heavy tanks and on the other side. Maybe I'll get that FV405 in the turret or something. Who knows? Probably just gonna run HE or AP for right now though. At least it gives me some chance of penetrating these guys. Some small chance. Oh, let's see. Where do I want to go? I don't know what this Kronvong's shooting at other than the air, but he's not giving me any good feelings. He's not giving me any warm and fuzzies. I don't think there was anything there to shoot. Seriously, this guy is like miles away from the door. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you ain't penning me. Back. Oh shit, that's my fault. That is my fault. I pulled out too far, too fast. I thought he was still positioning. Stupid, stupid me. I don't think this E75 is going to pin me from where he's at. I really want another shot on this 183. There's no way he can hit me from there. He's got to put his gun actually out. One good hit from this thing would seriously... Come on. 2-2. This ain't gonna do me any favors. This guy's not playing ball. So I got no shots over there. No shots over here, but this guy just got hit again. So he's getting hit from the flank probably. That's good. They're pushing our flank hard. Yes, not good. Not good. Yeah, I got one into you. And This freaking TD is going to come around the corner. We are screwed. Because we have nobody behind us that's going to cover. Ah! He's trying to take his front end off. Did not happen. Oh, this guy's gonna come behind me. Shit, there's nothing I can do. Because I don't have any help. Yeah, this is gonna end badly. This is gonna end badly because there's nothing I can do. Well, what are you going to do, guys? You see it coming. I'm not exactly in a fast tank. I probably could have repositioned earlier. I just noticed that on the mini-map that they pushed our flank, and I was about to reposition. We got caught out, so... Definitely probably not the worst person on my team, for sure. Not at tier 9. We got some damage, and we did what we could to help. This game was never going to be a win, I have a feeling. I think if I had to do it again, next time I'd probably reposition earlier. After getting hit by that FV, I would have just moved. I was kind of hoping he was going to pop out, let me shoot at him, but... And then up until the point they pushed that corner, we seemed to be doing well and holding our own. We took the field, and they rushed, which they should have done. It was the right play. They pushed the corner. We only had 2 tanks there, and they pushed right through the flank. So it would have been a loss for them if they hadn't done that, because we would have kept pushing around from the right, and then come across to their cap and hit them in the back. So well played on their part. But man, 4,400 blocked in this tank. I'm not going to complain. I mean, this thing's armor is iffy at best. But when you got a T110E5 shooting you in the butt, there ain't much you can do. Let's play another one in the Type 4. That was a fun game. We didn't win, but it was a fun game. Let's play another one. See if we can do a little more damage. I'm liking this tank more. It's still really immobile. It's not fast by any means. You're not going to like run into battle. But in these big heavy versus heavy matches, if you play it right, it can still be pretty effective. You know, as long as you're not up against some giant tank destroyer with 370 pen, or 411 pen in the case of the Jagdpanzer, it's pretty good at bouncing, and it's got a decent gun. It can deliver a lot of pain, and the reload is not as bad as it was before. And I could run the other 14 centimeter, the high velocity gun, and probably be more effective, especially if I was running premium rounds. But again, I enjoy playing this tank for this gun. I just wish it would get a little bit more of a buff. I don't think the reload should be close to what a KV2 has at tier 6. It used to be longer than the KV2 reload at tier 6. Up until not that long ago. I got a little bit of a buff recently. But I would still like to see the reload down to about 16 seconds on this gun. I think it would make it viable again. They fixed a lot of other stuff on it. Yeah, you're not going to pen me, Carnarvon. You're not going to pen me from that angle. Oh! Oh, I should have shot. That was stupid of me. I should have shot underneath. On that 705, I had a shot. And now that he knows I'm here, he's probably not going to pop out again. Maybe. Oh, and I missed. I missed. Yeah, there you go. 682 fed right to your gizzard there. Right to your driver. How do you enjoy that? What you do is you just give them the only flat surface you give them is the front of this turret face when they pop out. And as long as you keep sticking your front plate underneath my gun, I will feed it to you every time. So he's repositioning, so he's further back. Yeah, see, now he's repositioned, so he's further back, and I can't hit him. That's an interesting shot. Ah, it's green. There must be a pinnable spot there somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. That would have been a crazy shot if I got it. The AP rounds are still 680 damage. I mean, nobody wants to take that. It's not the most accurate gun in the world, but 680 damage is still nobody's... Not a fun time. Yeah, gets it. Come on, a little bit more. You're not going to be able to get your gun out without exposing your... Without exposing your lower plate. Yeah, feed them the onions. I know that's not the right expression, but I just enjoy saying it, so... Hopefully you guys enjoy hearing it. Yeah, that's why I pulled out on that angle. Gotta angle that tank. Oh my gosh. I wish he'd have stayed out. Yeah. That was stupid of me. I'm not gonna let it happen twice, though. Not gonna let it happen twice. Nope. Nope. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, you have one of those, too? I'll take one. Take one and give it to you. Seriously? That guy had a... How the heck did he have my lower plate there? Nice shot. I thought he could... I did not think he could get my lower plate there. I went back just a little too far. Nice shot on his part. We gotta start pushing up a little bit on these guys. Oh. Man, my team is not doing well. Not doing well at all. Come on, 63. I'm not looking. You can push out again. Nope, not gonna do it. Okay. Not gonna do it. Feathering this gap the whole time. We've got to do more than what we're doing here. Super Hellcat's freaking spotting me. Five to 10? Really? Come on, guys. Every game, if you wait too long, your team just freaking fails. And this is exactly what happens. They freaking fail. They freaking fail. Every time. He didn't pin me and I didn't pin him. That pinned me, though. These freaking bastards here. I might as well get some more damage on something. happen because I got Renegade on one side, K91 on the other. Not a horrible game. Again, I did a decent damage, but I can't be the only one doing damage. I mean, and look at my blocked, 3,380. I mean, at the end of the day, they were going to mop us up no matter what. So, I can't complain about it, It is what it is. It's holiday ops. You're going to get a lot of teams like this during this time, and it's just... it's kind of the nature of what I've been talking about. You do the best you can do. It feels bad, It feels bad to do that kind of damage. Put a couple really good hits on somebody a few times. You're in the top 5 of your team, and you still just can't get anything done. Granted, my accuracy was terrible, but that gun's not exactly a shining example of an accurate gun either. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain. If I'm in a game and I'm in the top 4 of my team, again, I'm not a great player, but I'm in the top 4 of a bad team, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? You put up what you can do, and you got to live with it. And I have a friend, he just won't play the game anymore because he just gets to the point where he's just toxic with it. But, if you look at your team list, and this is for any of you guys that are playing the game, if you look at your team list, and in your team list, you're in the top 4, don't be ashamed of whatever performance you put up. If you put up 2K damage and you're in the top 4 of your team, and, you have one tryhard ahead of you that's got 4K or whatever, like in that game, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're in the top 4, you put in more than 2/3 of your team. You put in more effort and got more experience than 2/3 of your team. So you can't be down on yourself in this game. Can't be toxic because of a loss. If you performed decent enough to put up some good damage, to contribute to your team, you played, you tried, and you're where you're at on the list shows that you tried. On top of that, then you can't complain about that. Just be happy with what you did. Don't be upset about that. Don't be upset about the fact that 50% of the teams in this game on a given day, probably more like 70% for most of us, are gonna suck, and you're gonna wind up with a lot of losses. It's just part of playing the game. There's opportunities sometimes where you can see an opening and you can take it, and if you're in the right tank, you can make things happen. But a lot of times, if you're playing something like a Type 4, you're kind of dependent on your team to play well enough to where if you put your damage in, you're going to win. I mean, this tank is not by any means like a, run to the other side of the map and, make the winning play. No, this is a super heavy tank. You go in there, you sit on the corner, you put your damage in, you try to make a dent in their team list, and you try to tank as many hits as you can. Block as much as in block damage, not take damage, but block as much damage as you can. Be that tank for your team. Be that heavy tank. The same as it is with a mouse. The same as it is with a E100. It's the same thing with this. That's your role. That's your job. Is to put up damage, but in this tank, I almost think it's secondary, and I almost think you should get more in this game. For if you have 4,000 damage blocked, you're doing your job. You're putting up, you're angling your tank right, and you're absorbing hits, and those hits are people wasting damage potential on you. That's 4,000 damage that could have gone at somebody else's tank and pinned it. And one of the frustrating things for me in this game is that Wargaming doesn't really give people a lot of credit for those kind of plays, yet they have a ton of tanks where the focus is not on offense. The focus is on, on blocking the damage. It's on just playing your tank to its strengths. And I think that people should get more credit for that. Like, if your tank is, looks like Dad let somebody drive his tank. If your tank is is doing what it's intended to do, as in it's a heavily armored tank and it's up there in the front. It's blocking. It's doing its thing. Then you're doing the best thing you can do, and you can't get upset about that. That's what you're there for. I've been running these SAP rounds. They're just not doing it on these tanks. I'm gonna try to switch back to AP because at least I'll pin. But yeah, I mean that's your point. That's what you're in here for. You're in here to be a wall for your team to hide behind. You're in here to help the charge, to do all that stuff. Like that's your job. If you're not doing that, then you're not doing your job. And that doesn't mean you get back either necessarily when you're not loaded. Sometimes you got to sit there and you tank, and that's part of your job. You're tanking for your team. Sometimes that means you sit back and you take one, right? You take two. You got a lot of hit points. That's your point. That's the point of you being in here in these gigantic tanks with a ton of hit points, is that they take the hits so the rest of the team doesn't have to. And they put the damage out. Like, I'm going to take another hit here because I'm getting low enough to put one right through the front of that IS-6, which I should have just taken the Mauschen out. That was kind of dumb. And this Hori is tearing me up. I didn't even know he was there. Yeah, I should have taken the Mauschen out. Stupid. I was greedy. I wanted more damage than that. Sorry, I wanted more damage. Trying to tempt that Hori to come out around the corner, so by the time I'm reloaded, I can freaking kill him. Alright, put one on this CC. Oh, I don't have to take it. But yeah, I mean, you gotta play that tanking role, and I wish Wargaming gave tanks credit for block damage. I didn't block much here. How would I implement that? For me, the way I would implement that would be to instead of block damage, like a tank with a lot of HP too, that's soaking up a lot of damage. That also to some degree counts, though obviously you'll die pretty quick if all you're doing is taking damage. But I think it should matter. So like if you're in a mouse and you have, 3,000 HP or whatever those things are at now. If you block a bunch of damage and then you take a bunch of shots, and like what's the total potential damage that you took and you absorbed? Like how much did you get hit for, and how much did you block? And that combined number, give it like half of the experience that you would give somebody for the spotting experience, like half of your assistance damage. And then make that part of your after battle rating. Because to me, there's people out there that probably love super heavy tanks. That's primarily what they play. If you look at my garage, I have the Maus, I have the Mauschen, I don't have the E100 yet, but I have the E75 unlocked. I just don't have it in my list right now. And playing those tanks, you should get credit for when you bounce. When you bounce 4,000 damage, it shouldn't just be a mission objective. I mean, they should give you some experience and stuff for it. I don't know how much you get for that right now. I'm not saying you don't get any, because they do show damage blocked by armor as a statistic that they track. But how much they give you for that, in this list, I don't see any kind of reward experience-wise for that statistic. And I know there's a reward for damage done as well. So I don't know how it breaks down. I would love to see if somebody has that information, like how they break that down. I would love to see if that's changed, because I know before at one point they didn't give you really anything for block damage. But that's how I would implement that. Is I would have a combined score for both blocked damage and then damage absorbed, so that tanks that have a lot of HP, that would be a benefit to playing them. Most of them are slow. Most of them have terrible gun handling. Most of them they can't reposition. So they're already at a disadvantage when it comes to getting experience from the battle anyway. So why not give those tanks and those drivers, those tankers that like this kind of stuff, a little bit of an advantage for playing it, in the sense that more of a balancing thing than anything else. And I don't think they've implemented that yet. I'd love to see the hard numbers on what they do for block damage right now. I don't think they do anything for it. If somebody knows different than me, please let me know in the comments and give me a link to where I can find that, and I will research it. But as far as I know, they don't really do much for it right now, and I would love to see them do more with that. Because I think tanks like this and the Maus and the Type 5, like, half the point of the tank is just to be there to take damage and be there to block damage, be there to tank, specifically to tank enemy fire. And I don't think they get enough credit for that. And I've seen a lot of games where a big tank like this is very pivotal. If they push and people push with them, their ability to keep that focus on them can win games. So just my 2 cents on it. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I really enjoyed playing the Type 4 for you. And I hope everybody's having an amazing Christmas holiday. And I will talk to you again soon. Have a good one.